Hey guys, how you doing? It's late. I am super tired. I'm super tired, I gotta be honest. But man, how does Paul McCartney keep fucking doing it, man? It's incredible. Come on. I'm here to talk about the Boys of Dungeon Lane. This is my early impressions video, meaning that I am 100% aiming on recording another video maybe a couple weeks from now where I sit back and really think about my takes on the record and whatnot. But, well, let's just say this blew me away. This is blowing me away with every listen. So I have listened to the entire record, I'd say maybe 4 times, 4 to 5 times each song. It depends. Some songs I did listen to it in multiple occasions throughout the day. But my first listen was really near the release time here where I live, and I gotta be honest, I liked it. I didn't understand it that much, you know. It was late, I was tired and whatever, so it wasn't the best moment really to simply process everything. You know, it's a new Paul McCartney album in 2026. Come on, man. So during work today, I streamed the songs, but not as often as I wanted to. And then the evening came, and I was able to sit down and pay attention again and really focus on the songs. And man, I am 100% hyped. And I gotta tell you again, I am extremely surprised. I am extremely surprised simply because I can't believe we're this lucky to have a Paul McCartney album in 2026. It's been too long since we've had a new one. Come on, man. 2020, so 6 years, Paul. You can't do that to us, man. It is unfair. You should release more stuff. And in general, I am again extremely surprised by it because I feel like it sounds incredible. It sounds great. The more I listen to it, the more I like the production on it, and I'm gonna talk a bit more about that. But especially because Paul is 100% not trying to sound too commercial. I think it was my biggest gripe with New and Egypt Station. There are a couple songs in there that are clearly songs to be poppy and really commercial, and there are some arena songs. The first one that comes to mind is Everybody Out There. And you know, I like those songs. I like all of them. I even like For You. I like them. But Paul's at his best when he wants to do something, you know, regardless of that. I think most of his work and the praise came from his most famous and well-known and well-rated albums, or due to that fact. You know, the only exception really being Band on the Run. He really did try and make a great pop record, and he did. But Ram was that attempt, but at the same time it was too quirky for that, and Paul knew that, of course. And Chaos and Creation, of course, which is extremely introspective. So I do think there is something there. You know, Paul tries too hard sometimes. And I said that in my preview video, but it's 1,000% not commercial. And you know, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking maybe Andrew Watt will. You know, I didn't want the songs and the production to be sort of Hackney Diamond style. I didn't like that record too much, even though I'm not a huge Stones fan. I like the Stones. Of course I do, but I didn't like the album, the Hackney Diamonds album. So I was kind of afraid that they'd go Egypt Station plus, with this one, and they didn't. It sounds like Paul, of course. Andrew Watt must have done a ton of stuff on the record, but the production sounds to me 100% McCartney coded. It sounds super experimental, and the songs are all fun. They're all super different from one another. And, what I said in my preview holds true, which is that whatever album, whatever era Paul's doing, he always has, at least, at his worst, at least he has like 3 or 4 great songs up his sleeve. Which is incredible, isn't it? But it's true. And this definitely has it. And maybe it has even more than that. That's my take on it. What do you think about it? Please let me know down here, right? I like the production. Again, maybe it sounds a bit strange oftentimes. I think the album lacks bass in certain tracks. I don't understand why. Paul's a bassist, bump the bass up. I wasn't too much of a fan of the track listing, and I still don't know if I still feel that way. But these are my 2 gripes with it, to be honest, and they're minor, because all in all, this has the potential to become one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums from the 21st century, That's how I feel about it. And again, every time I re-listen to the songs, I like them more and more. So I wanted to tell you my highlights here. So please let me know your highlights. As You Lie There is a great opener, and it sounds like Paul recorded that maybe a while ago, because his voice really sounds like Egypt Station era vocals, I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that. Then we have Days We Left Behind, which of course was the single. We all know that one. I love that one. Even though, again, I don't think it fits well with the track listing, maybe. It kind of sounds weird in it. Maybe it would have been better like as the first song of side 2. I'm not sure, but I don't quite like how it's ordered. Then Mountaintop, that is a great song, and the melodies are there, everywhere on the record. But I like the one where it's like, little girl is stripping, that part just struck me as something different. And Paul really, he's coming up with those. I'm not sure if it's because of his voice. So I'm gonna open a parenthesis here to talk about his voice. It sounds incredible. I am pretty sure, again, he's been recording this album for a while. He has shown Life Can Be Hard in McCartney 321 with Rick Rubin, that was recorded in like 2022, I think. And it sounds the same, it's the same song. So he's been thinking about this record for quite a while, It took him 6 years to make it, apparently. And so his voice kind of varies throughout, I think, in age. Because, of course, ever since McCartney 3, his voice has aged. But he is using it in here with such delicacy, with such style, and it makes for songs to be better, it makes them better in the best case scenarios, and at its worst, it's just his voice, it doesn't doesn't really affect the song for me in any case. And I'm not sure if they're treating it somehow with some auto tune or something like that. There's tons of effects at play. There's a lot of harmonies that he does with his high pitched voice, like in the Find My Way chorus, the Find My Way chorus falsetto, old Paul falsetto style. That they are incredible. And well, what can I say? Congratulations to Andrew Watt and to the team and to Paul himself, because it sounds great, it sounds incredible. And anyway, that being said, so Mountaintop sounds super freaky, sounds, again, he talks about magic mushrooms. It does get that psychedelic vibe, and it's one of my highlights for me. Then we have my last two highlights. They are probably my favorite songs on the record, and both of them are extremely 50s inspired songs, and the dance hall songs, and the old stuff, the granny music that Paul loves doing. And I love Paul's granny music, of course I do. And they are Life Can Be Hard. Again, he's played it, the early beginning, but the production and the clarinets and the instrumentation take it to the next level. And Paul, of course, plays almost every instrument, and man, he can kind of jazz in it. It's a super jazzy one, and especially the drums sound great to me, because Paul can't play jazz on drums. Actually, he can, kind of, in his own style. It is impressive, and it sounds great. It sounds like Honey Pie Part 2 in the best way possible. And then Mama Gets By. I'm not sure. I think this is the best album closer of any Paul McCartney record in a long, long time. This made me tear up and cry like a baby. I don't even care. It's such a pretty song. It's classic Paul, but at the same time, again, all the songs feel different in a way. They just feel different. They don't feel like the usual Paul McCartney 21st century songs we've been listening to. They feel different in a way. And this one reminds me a lot of Warm and Beautiful from Wings at the Speed of Sound. It's the album closer, it's a piano tune. And that one is great. That one, Warm and Beautiful, is extremely underrated, I think. But this one just sounds great. It's beautiful. It really made me tear up. And it's one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs of the 21st century, at least so far. Because, I tend to kind of go up and down on a record when I listen to it for the first time. And then I get the full picture, I understand it, and then, I have my opinion on it. And I gotta be honest, I don't even want to have opinions on things anymore. I just want to have fun, because I'm having so much fun discovering the songs and listening to them over and over and thinking about them and getting excited and whatever. In a way, I didn't really see myself liking it that much. So that's my main take on it. I have some more, 3 things to say before I leave. So what do you think down here? Please let me know. I have 3 observations that I think really strengthens the argument that this may be a special one. because it grows on you. It started growing on me so fast and strong, and basically I am impressed by how we can pinpoint and hear references and throwbacks basically to all of Paul's career. So there was a review, I believe it was a Guardian review, that mentioned that it felt like a successor to New in Egypt Station, not so much McCartney 3. I disagree with it because I hear so much of McCartney 3 in there, the experimentation and whatnot. But I do agree that it sounds so much like New in Egypt. But at the same time, they're completely different. I don't know how Paul did that, but they are completely different, but they sound alike. And there are times where, of course, I mentioned Honey Pie, you hear the Beatles, you hear Wings, you hear Tug of War, you hear Chaos and Creation. Everything's in there. Everything's in there. And, to end it all, I have a feeling that this may be Paul's last album. I hope to God it's not. But something's different about this one. Simply because I don't think Paul's want to do something extremely introspective at this age. Meaning, making an album like the last Johnny Cash one. An extremely powerful last album kind of thing. I don't think Paul really does that. I don't think he will do that. But at the same time, thinking about it, this is Paul looking back at his life like he never did before on a lot of songs. Of course, there are songs that are that just they're fun, they're just pop songs and whatnot. But we have Days We Left Behind, of course. We have Life Can Be Hard, extremely 50s and 40s style song. We have, of course, Salesman Saint, which isn't one I particularly love. Not to this point, but it's a good one. I love the instrumentation on it as well, which of course it's for his parents. We also have Down South, and that was one where I mentioned in my preview video that, well, this is probably a song about Paul and George hitchhiking, and it is. And it's a song for George. People are not talking about this enough. It's a song for George, period. Like Here Today. Paul hadn't done that before. He'd done that with Friends to Go. He always mentioned that. He kind of envisioned George writing it. But it's a pop song. It doesn't talk about George like Here Today does about John, of course. So it's a song for George. Why is he doing that now? It's super sweet, It kind of tears me up. And the last one, which again made me cry like a fucking baby, which is Mama Gets By. It is a song clearly about his mother, or mothers in general. And we all know what happened to his mom, So it's emotional in a way. But also, he wrote a song for Linda on his first solo album called Mama Miss America. And I'm pretty sure the Mama, it's an instrumental, but I'm pretty sure Mama was being referred to Linda. And there's an incredible interview it's called Chicken Date or something like that. I forgot what the host's called, but it's out today on YouTube, so check it out because it's the best Paul McCartney interview I've seen in quite a long time. It's great. Paul's so relaxed. It's great watching it. And Paul talks about Linda so sweetly in it, so sweetly. And so that kind of brought me back, you know. Is Mama also Linda? And that song's just incredible. I'm thinking about it now, and I want to go back and listen to it again. That's it, guys. I talked enough. I talked a bunch with you, but I just really wanted to come here and celebrate Paul and throw some ideas at the window. All in all, again, I'm so happy. I'm so happy we have Paul with us and that we have this incredible record that I really wanted to grow and grow. The feeling grows and grows, like he mentions in Ripples in a Pond. This song's just stuck in my head right now. The feeling grows and grows of the record, and I hope it keeps growing forever. And this is the best time, you know, for an album experience, because I listen to the records so often and so much, and I pay so much attention to all music I love, and I love every song for its little details and its quirks and whatnot, and the songs get embedded into my bloodstream in a weird way, you know. I feel like I know them inside and out, and probably you guys are like that as well. But this one, so in this case, I am at a moment, and we are at a moment where we're still discovering things, we're understanding the songs, we are finding those little quirks, those little details we love. This is the best time ever to enjoy the record, and I am. So thank you, Paul, again. My vinyl, my vinyl pressing is coming in September. That doesn't make any sense, does it? But I am going to America, to the United States next month. I didn't know I was doing that, but I am. So maybe I'll buy another version of the record, and I don't care. I'll have two. I don't care at this point, right? I'll see you guys later. We love you, Paul. What do you think about it? What's your favorite song? Please let me know down here. I'm gonna listen to it again instead of sleeping. Who needs to sleep, right? I'll see you guys. Thank you. Cheers.